Wake your ass up
or take a damn nap.
And we're the three best friends that anybody could have.
It's time.
Sean, you were twerking. That's going to happen.
Murph, don't be a dick all your life.
It's one of the more fun podcasts I've ever done.
Hey, I tell you what, if you're not talking about sports in the man cave, I bet not say you not a man.
That's it.
I am so excited to be the newest member of the Texas Legends Bobblehead Series. It was an honor to wear the red, white, and blue and represent the United States at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics this past week. Team USA and myself are proud to be bringing home a silver medal. Thank you so much for the support. Go Express, go USA.
Well, that was the only thing I could pull.
Hang on, slow clap right there.
Yes.
What was your husband holding up the cue cards, or did you memorize that?
No, I memorized it, but that's like take 20 because I remember I would get through 2 lines and then I'd screw up the next one, and then I'd get through 3 lines and screw up the next. So at first I was like, oh, I can totally pull this out, and then 20 takes later, he's like, all right, time for dinner. Are we done yet?
Done. That's always cook half a day.
Yeah, Jane Slater sent me something like last year during the pandemic, and she was like, "I'm gonna call my hat guy out. Go ahead and make like a little video." And I did like 30 takes just by myself because you get halfway through and then you just mess it up. So I completely understand.
Yeah. If you give me just like a generic, like, "Hey, just say this," I can bust it out 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You're a champion at that. Right. Yeah, this is Cat Osterman, the legendary softball pitcher.
Legendary. First time I ever saw Cat Osterman was when I had just graduated high school, and she was pitching in the College World Series. I was in Dallas in Richardson, and we were watching Cat throw just fucking bombs down the middle of the plate. Like, it was great. This is an adult podcast, Cat. So don't worry.
Absolutely.
All right.
FCC is not involved. There are 0 filters. The only reason I use that from the Express because, the Olympics and NBC, they're very sensitive about any piece of property they own video-wise. So I didn't want to be fined $10,000 for using your emotional response. But let's start off with that. I mean, you're a competitor. None of us like losing, but you know what it's like to be on top for such a long time. I know it's great to win a silver, but those raw emotions spoke volumes of who you are after that loss.
Yeah, thank you. I think, this journey, there was a little different perspective just being older, having retired, having my stepdaughter, which is a whole nother aspect to it. But, you're in that moment and you can't lie and say it doesn't suck. I mean, it sucks. It sucks to lose, just period. And it takes a great deal of time to be like, all right, we lost the game, but yes, we have a silver medal. I think out of everyone there, I was probably able to rationalize it a little quicker just because, I've told a couple of people, 2008 ripped my heart out and shattered it into 1,000 pieces that I don't think that can happen again. Aside from my husband's coming home out of the blue and saying he's leaving me, I don't think my heart can I don't think anything can shatter my heart as much as that did. And so when we lost, it sucked. My heart broke, but not to the same degree. And unfortunately, my teammates had to feel what I felt in 2008, and I tried to offer a little bit of condolence of, they'll give yourself time, but there will be a moment where you realize the silver medal is pretty freaking cool. Even though, I mean, we're conditioned, and that's kind of been the underlying theme, in my opinion, of this whole Olympics is like America is conditioned to gold and gold only. And so when you get silver, it's like, oh, but why not? Some of them, it's 0.2 of a second or something that you can't even control. Our 2 runs, and normally the whole tournament we weren't hitting really well. I don't think that's a secret. I look at the roster I was playing with, and those are some of the most feared hitters. Like, I don't like pitching to some of them, and it just wasn't our week, and the emotions were there. But I mean, I think that's the truth of the matter. Nobody goes through life and never fails.
Well, I don't know how you live your life, but I win at everything.
You're winning at everything, huh?
So that's a valid point. Like, you know, a lot of these and this thing, social media is so much bigger than it was in 2008 and everything else. You see all these things. It's like, oh, the U.S. didn't win. It's like, guys, like this is the Olympics. Like they're coming home with a silver medal. Like it's okay if we didn't finish first, but everybody, like you just said, is, oh, well, America is, you know, engulfed in the brand and trained. Yeah, well, they're trained. We're trained to be the best, right? Because we're told we're the best. This is America. It's the free. All this other. It's guys, get out of here. Yeah. No, I understand. I'm with you.
Like in softball world, Japan has the best pro league. Like now that ours folded, the only existing pro league.
I did not.
So your league folded. So you're not going back to the.
Well, no, I'm going to Athletes Unlimited. We had NPF, National Pro Fast Pitch, and that just ceased operations.
That's the one that fell apart because of all the back end stuff, right?
Yeah, it just. Yeah. The writing was on the wall, unfortunately.
Yeah. So are you done? Are you gonna shoot for 2026? You're gonna come out of retirement in your 40s, or like what's the game plan?
No, I leave actually what's today? I leave in 9 days again. Go up to Chicago, play in Athletes Unlimited. That will end on September 27th. I have a countdown going to the last day. I will on cleats. I think we're at 52 days now. But no, I mean, I may throw my name into the coaching pool. In a couple years.
University of Texas, maybe? Are we gonna? Is this the?
I'm at Team USA.
Okay. Sorry. Okay, my bad. My apologies.
No, you know, when Chris Del Conte hired Coach White, which is a great hire, don't get me wrong. But Coach White's specialty is pitching, so I knew until NCAA wants to pass that rule where everybody gets a third assistant. There's probably not really.
You don't want to do the Troy Tulowitzki thing where you just volunteer.
No.
Hey, for other people who are watching across the country to our Facebook video, or maybe just
Guam, friends in Guam.
Friends, we have Guam. We have some communities in France, the Mediterranean.
France? Who are you?
So Cat Osterman. Texas. Well, first off, she was a Texas high school softball pitching grade, Texas pitching grade, National Pro Fast Pitch grade. This was your third Olympics, right? That's our fourth. I can't remember. Because life goes by too quickly to remember everything. Team USA,
a giant gap too. Because I mean, it was 2004, 2008, and then 2020, basically 2020 Olympics, right? 2021.
Yeah.
So
correct.
Yeah.
And she coached at Texas State. You guys did wonderful things. And I know the head coach there, she's somewhat of a legend in herself. And Texas State, you took them to the NCAA tournament. Now we're kind of getting to a peek into Cat Osterman's life now. Softball will always be a part of it for you and your husband, Joey Ashley, who UT San Antonio now, right?
He is. He's the assistant coach at UTSA. He just moved over.
Just promoted what? Like just took the job like 2 weeks ago, yeah? And when he announced,
First day on campus was yesterday. So
whoa, let's go, Joey Ashley. Joey's awesome. He's also ginormous. Like I'm a tall dude and he's taller than me. I was like, Joey, you're a cool dude. Just like I like you. You're a cool guy.
He's pretty cool. Yeah. I keep him around.
Are you back in Texas? We saw you on your tour in San Francisco. You did the Golden State Bridge picture. You're doing this, and then I see you're throwing out the first pitch at the Houston Astros game, not the Rangers, which we don't have to talk about it, but yeah.
Yeah, so I am back got back in Texas Tuesday night. Just not been doing much. Went up to Texas State, had lunch with Coach Woodard and the staff there. They're still very good friends of mine. And we actually are leaving later this afternoon, drive down to Houston. The Astros are having me throw the first pitch, which born and raised in Houston, everyone's like, oh, don't go throw out the first pitch for those cheaters. And I'm like, okay, I'm born and raised. I'm an Astros fan from like the Killer B stage, like way long time ago. So
do we send you a trash can, or do we need to have a trash can? Are you gonna pitch from the mound, or are you gonna pitch from like where you normally throw?
I mean, I haven't tried it. So while we were in San Francisco, we went to a Giants game, and my teammate Monica Abbott got to throw out the first pitch there, and she pitched a softball.
Right.
But I kind of like throwing a baseball from the mound because how often do I do that? And how often do they see
I think you should throw from the mound. I think you should throw from the mound. I'm just gonna throw it out there. So
I haven't practiced pitching for almost 10 days now, so who knows where
I haven't yet. It might be a high heater to someone's face is what might happen. So at the Olympics, right? We were talking before we got on here, and you said you didn't get to like do the pre-ceremony, and I see this. A lot of athletes come back early, or like Tara Davis didn't go to the Olympics until like a week after it started. Give people the process of opening ceremony and closing ceremonies. Stay, don't stay. Like what is that process? Like what happens?
So your arrival is determined on when your first competition is. Or when the practice sessions start for your event type thing. So we were the first event. So we moved into the village. We were the first United States team to move in. We were probably, I don't know, maybe the 12th team overall. There weren't very many people there when we first got there. So if you're there prior to opening ceremonies, then you're obviously invited to opening ceremonies. We had a game the next day, and due to the way opening ceremonies work, most of the time athletes don't get back to the village until like 3 or 4 in the morning. So not really conducive to if you have competition the next day. So 04 was the same way. We didn't get to go. 08, we got to go to opening ceremonies because we didn't play the next day. We just had practice. But you want to talk about having a practice where you felt hungover but yet had 0 alcohol? That was we were all practicing. We were all like, "Oh my god, we feel drunk without being drunk."
This is the worst. Believe me, I'm feeling that right now. I'm with you.
Yeah. So yeah, like Tara, her event wasn't till the middle, so she wouldn't have arrived early. So closing. Normally, we're all allowed to, if you're still there, go. However, because the village is only slotted for so many people, and it's not built to house every U.S. Olympian all at once. So normally the normal is within like 48 to 72 hours, you have to be out of the village. Now, if you're going to extend your stay and stay for closing ceremonies and go sightsee or whatever, you can. This year, however, because of COVID and Japan's
rigorous rules, we'll call them rigorous.
Yeah, rigorous rules. We had to be out of the country within like 48 hours.
Wow. Really?
Wow. Yeah. So we basically finished our game. The next day, 4 of us had a media tour with all the NBC stuff. The whole team was on the Today Show. And then from there, it was like pack up, get out, and get home. So this year, we didn't have an option to stay for closing ceremonies if we wanted. In the past, I've had teammates that, when we were in Greece, a lot of the teams stayed and went island hopping and then went back for closing ceremonies.
So how was it playing without any fans versus like, do you think that affected some of like maybe the outcome of the final game that you didn't have, like you didn't hear the roar? And I mean, it's got to be a weird environment.
It is different. We were talking about it as a team a little bit. I think when they ruled out no fans, it didn't, when they came and said not even, civilians from Japan are allowed to come. It didn't affect us because we were like, well, that's fine. Our parents and our people aren't here anyways.
Right.
I don't think it bothered us. And a lot of us had played Athletes Unlimited season 1 where we had no fans. So we were semi used to it. But what it did do is like make everything else heightened. So like you could hear coaches yelling, you could hear players yell, like you could hear everything that you normally don't hear because sometimes the regular crowd drowns them out. And then there were times it was just really quiet and you're like, am I playing a sport at the Olympics right now? But we had to, we just knew we had to create our own energy, which is a different element. I mean, we create energy to a certain extent, but a lot of times you can feed off fans too. And we didn't have that. So it was really funny though. The last game, obviously more media was there because it was a gold medal game. And all of a sudden we look up, we're like, oh, we went from empty stands to at least like 60 people.
It's funny.
Cat, everybody says this Olympics may be the least viewed Olympics in the history since they've taken ratings or whatnot. But truth be told, there are several young ladies' eyes watching, and you've always been on the platform of empowering young women through sports, because you know the reach you have, and for every young woman who's watching this or listening to this, make it a point to meet Cat Osterman one day. You'll walk away inspired to take on the world, but that platform that you continue to have, I mean, you didn't ask for it, but you've embraced it. And how can you describe how it's a daily part of your life? I know you have your private life, but that it's something important to you, correct?
Yes, it is. I think, and it took me a while to embrace it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, there were, especially my college years, like I just wanted to go to school and play softball. Like all the other stuff was, I couldn't handle it. I didn't want to handle it. There's people that are like, oh, we met her once and she was so rude, and I'm like, how old was I?
I was like 19. Give me a break.
Yeah,
I was hungover with my fake ID. I was on 6th Street. You're asking for an autograph.
I could have gotten away with a fake ID on 6th Street. Let's be real.
No, probably not. Well, I mean, Vince Young was down there, and I know he didn't have. I know he wasn't 21 at some point.
Right.
I saw him.
But yeah, I mean, there were times. There was early on. I didn't. I don't even know that I say I didn't want it. I don't think I understood what I was getting into, to be honest.
Or the impact you had on the university. I mean, like you're Cat Osterman. You know what I mean? That's got to be your name holds weight.
In 2002, I don't think that being Cat Osterman when we have Vince Young and TJ Ford and so and so and so and so.
Right, but that's my thing. You're on. I know, like you're looking back now, but even then, like you got to think, like how crazy is that? Like Vince Young, TJ Ford, and then it was Cat Osterman. Like you are one of you still are like you are
at the same time.
At the same time, you are a legend. Like it's how does that feel? Like looking back at it now, like when you show up wearing your Legend Series number 8 hat. I don't want to brag. I know a guy. But how does that feel?
It was made for me and not Shipley. Can we admit that? It was my hat.
No. Who? Shipley who? I'm just kidding. It was all for you, Kat. It was all for you. No, but seriously, like you are okay. So being a UT legend, that's great. Like we talked about that. Talk about your blended family. Like I literally watched a post from your husband's ex-wife, who's literally like FaceTiming your stepdaughter while she's in Mexico to watch your pitching game. I'm like, this is hands down like the most blended family. And my parents are divorced. So I know what it's like, the awkwardness with parents. Like, how do you guys make that work? Because it is amazing.
It is. I'm very fortunate that I married into probably the best situation I think I've heard of as far as being in a divorce. The funny part is originally when I said I was going to play again and the games were in Tokyo, I had a list of like 40 people who wanted to come, and half of it was his ex-wife, her new husband, her parents. Like, everyone was coming. I was like, oh, this is going to be interesting. I'm going to have a lot of tickets to figure out. But I think the first and foremost, like all 4 of us, she has, she'll tell me I have 2 moms, I have 2 dads. Well, really, she has a mom, 2 dads, and a cat, is what she'll sometimes say, and I laugh.
That's hilarious. That is hilarious.
There was a point in time she's like, "Can I call you mom?" And then I was like, "Sure, I guess." And then she'd call me mom, and I wouldn't answer. So I'm like, "We got to go back to cat because you want my attention. That the mom thing's not working yet." So
that's hilarious. Yeah.
But all of us have her best intention at heart, and all of us were athletes, so we all get. I mean, we bond over watching. We've been over there to watch the Astros playoff games for dinner, and they come over here and watch a game for dinner. And we babysit her brother that her mom and stepdad have. We let him come over to the house and hang out, and it just come to when you put the kid first. Obviously, everything else just kind of falls into place. We want what's best for him or her. We want what we go to his birthday parties, and I bring him home trinkets when I go on the road and stuff. So it's just been fun because we all know what competitive sports is like, and so when I said I was going to play again, they've been a huge factor in that. And they'll do everything they can to wake Bracken. They were waking her up. If she wasn't here with Joey and she was over there, they were waking her up in the middle of the night to let her watch. I called her after the gold medal game. She's like, I went back to bed after you got taken out. I was like,
Thank you.
But yeah, so it's been a very good situation, and probably one I don't talk about enough, but I think the Olympics heightened it because that post you saw was pretty cool, and I thought people needed to see, it is possible if you put the kid first and you guys realize that, life is meant to run its course, and there's no reason to hold on to animosity for any length of time, and especially at the detriment of a kid being able to experience good family on both sides. And so very good, but they were watching every game. I was talking to them every game, just as I was talking to Joey and Bracken every game. So it's been really cool, and I think we're finally going to get to see them and her. She's been at camp all week, so I haven't even seen her since I got home yet. But I'm going to see her on Saturday, and I'm sure we'll all go to dinner and have a big celebration.
That is really
it's been cool. It's been very cool, and it's fun, and it's nice for me to have the support of her mom.
I bet, right? Like that's got to be like a great experience, having
very rare
part of the ex-wife, right? Being like, right. Oh, we love you as a stepmom / like a role model to my child. That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, it is, and because you marry in, and it's like all of a sudden this kid is not like something I can just give back to somebody.
Yeah, right. Hey, can I return this or no?
Yeah, but and then her realizing that Bracken. First of all, Bracken realizing I'm just trying to help her, and then the mom, Delana, re-emphasizing that. There were times that she was like, Bracken, Cat makes time to come to your dance recitals, and Cat makes time to come do this when she's really busy. So you need to know that you have a really good stepmom. And Bracken would come home and be like, my mom said I have the best stepmom because you came to dance. And I'm like, wow. All right, great.
Well, you do. So glad your mom told you.
Yeah. So it's been a great situation, but I think anytime just embrace another person in your child's life and know that now that's just another influence that they can have, hopefully a positive influence that they can have. It's the best thing.
100%. So that just adds to the long list of if someone were to create a true biography of yours, you've got 3-time Olympian, just Cat Osterman, period, Longhorn legend, bonus mom, everything that you could possibly, and you're a huge part of an organization that I love, that's dear to my heart, RBI.
Yes.
So take all that, and this is I don't know, some people think this is the best part of the show, the Jimmy Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. You got to pay the bills right there. For the man cave story, how can you pick a man, or in this case, a woman cave story? I mean, we don't discriminate at all, but you've got to have some good stories from the clubhouse, dugout, your travels, maybe being a bonus mom, your marriage to the great Joey.
There's a ton of stories.
Yeah.
I think, well, Joey's an all-encompassing story anyways.
Yes, I agree. We
met down on 6th Street back in 2006.
That's how you met him?
Probably the fall of 2005. Yeah, we met.
Where were you at? What bar were you at? Was this a first date?
The aquarium.
Not a first date. This was not a first date.
The aquarium?
The aquarium.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you.
Upstairs of the aquarium.
Oh no! Oh, you weren't even on the first level. You went upstairs on the balcony. Whoa! VIP. VIP.
Did you guys know aquarium has a slide now?
Yeah,
I had no clue.
Cat, I just turned Cat Osterman's number yesterday. So, yeah, 38. I don't go to the aquarium anymore. I
don't either. But when Joey turned 40,
apparently you were there like 12 years ago. So
no. So for Joey's 40th birthday, I invited all his friends and their wives we went to dinner at Vince Young's Steakhouse. And afterwards they were like, well, let's live up, because they all went to Concordia when it was right there off of.
When it was downtown. Yeah.
The best baseball field in the state of Texas.
Hitting home runs on the fucking upper lower. Yeah.
Right. So they were all like, well, let's just after dinner go stroll 6, kind of like old times. So, we, at being old people, we went to the bars just for fun. And granted, it was in November and close to Thanksgiving, so nobody was really around. But yes, we walked in an aquarium and they have a slide now.
That is
crazy. I did not go down the slide, but the guys.
Yeah, you did. You don't have to lie to us, Kat. You're so good.
So Joey and I met in an aquarium in 2005. I think I ran into him 3 or 4 times before I remembered his name.
She's such a big timer. I can't stand you. She's such a big timer.
If it was the fall and I was downtown, the chances of me remembering anything were very
That's great. If
it was after January and I was downtown, I would have remembered everything. But so we met, and then season came, and he asked me to get his sister tickets, him and his sister tickets, because his sister played softball back in Port Aransas. And so I did. I got him 2 tickets for a weekend thing, and then as a thank you, he wanted to take me to dinner, and I didn't think he was serious. So I was like, haha, yeah, whatever. And then 20 minutes later, he's like, no, for real, I'm outside. And I was like, oh, great. I'm sure a teammate gave him my address or something. So we went to dinner, and then we started dating, and then I cold turkey. It's like, I got to go play softball. I got to go do Olympic stuff and all that. And I don't want to be tied down.
You cut him off? You just were like, we're done?
Kind of, yeah, pretty much. He kind of felt the writing on the wall, I guess. He was supposed to come to Houston and golf with my dad, and then hang out with my family. And our flight got delayed coming home. So I was like, hey, just don't come to Houston. I'll come up to Austin tomorrow. And he was like, I get the feeling that this is kind of coming to an end. So if you're going to break up with me, why don't you do it? And I picked up the phone and I was like, okay, I was going to come to Austin and talk to you in person. But yes, that's how this is going to end. I'm going to come get my stuff tomorrow morning and we're good.
Oh my God.
I was
the worst.
I was bad. But I just really, and I didn't know probably how to verbalize that I didn't want to be tied down. So we broke up. We didn't speak. We didn't speak at all. Nothing for 10 years. And then
He made the move, or you made the move?
I made the move.
They always come back. They always come back.
I stayed friends with one of his really good friends, and Chris ended up getting into real estate. That's actually who our broker is now when we do real estate work. And Chris had helped me find a house in Austin, and I had called him at some point about a problem with the house that I was like, do you have a plumber or somebody I needed to call? And he was like, hey, I'm actually at Joey's sister's wedding. You should probably say hi to him. And I was like, I don't know if he'd want to talk to me. Yeah. I wouldn't want to talk to me if I had done what I did to him. But sure enough, for 2 weeks, he kept popping up on the people you may know on Facebook.
So finally you made the move. You're like,
finally, I sent a message and said, hey, stranger, how are you doing? And from there, we.
The stranger line. Hey, stranger, how are you?
Yeah.
Hey, you.
A week. Yeah, I was waiting for I'm great. Screw you.
Yeah, right.
But no, then he invited me down to San Antonio later, hang out with his friends, and after that, the rest is history. So
the rest is history, and now you kept your last name. So did my wife. So that's we're progressive in our household. Yeah. Sarah Steinbeck. I'm Mike Murphy. It's Sean Clinch and his cat. So I don't know what the cat's last name is, but
and a long list
of RBI
that don't seem to work.
All right, before we let you go, you're big with RBI Austin, right? So big with that. Tell everybody what you're gonna do after. I know you said you're gonna throw your name into Team USA coaching. What is Cat Osterman doing other than softball?
Well, so starting in September, I'm actually working part-time for RBI.
All right. Nice.
And then I think, I don't know Matt talks to me about it, so I just feel like I can tell everybody. Starting in January, I'll be full-time with RBI.
Let's go.
We love you, Cat.
Yeah. So this fall, we're going to be designing and implementing a player development academy for the softball girls. Baseball already has it. But we're going to allow get the junior high and high school softball girls a little more instruction, a little more just participation avenues, hopefully long-term.
Right.
Obviously is getting some of them to be able to go to college like the guys are. We just haven't had with NCAA rules, I wasn't able to help like actually physically do anything with them.
Right.
So I couldn't unload any of my knowledge on them, and then it's just been hit or miss on if we have a ton of women who love to help. Unfortunately, some of them, their softball knowledge is very minimal. Where on the baseball side, it's like we have a ton of baseball players that want to help. And it's like, okay, I have a ton of women, but I need some softball players to actually help these girls.
Right.
And so
that's cool.
we're gonna do that. I'm excited about that and just being able to kind of fully dive into RBI now and not just be kind of a figurehead on the board that says yay or nay. And then getting into real estate. I've had my license for almost a year now, but softball's kind of gotten in the way from doing too much with that.
Right.
As Mike learned when he wanted to talk to me about housing market while I was about to play a softball game.
I got big time. It's okay though. She texted me the next day. She texted me the next day. She came back and texted me the next day.
And then by the time I texted him back, he had lost his other house, the house.
Yeah, that house we were talking, like, don't worry about it. We lost that house. Like, it's fine. We're staying.
Yeah.
So, Kat, tell everyone so we can try to increase the volume of your business.
Yeah.
Hopefully, you get one customer, one client per week from us. We hope. How can they contact you for real estate?
Real estate, my email is cat@reliancerealtytx.com. Our broker's out of Pflugerville, but Joey and I work down here. But obviously, anywhere from Austin to San Antonio, I'm pretty familiar with. So anything you need, selling, we're here.
Would you have dominated the SEC, do you think? Would you have dominated the SEC? Do you think?
SEC now or SEC when it was the SEC back when I was in the Big 12?
Tomato. Like, I think you could probably still dominate them now. But the point is like, would Cat Osterman have dominated the SEC at any point, now or then?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree too. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Are we all going to change SEC now? So I was at the soccer game and I was talking to a buddy walking behind me and I saw an Aggie guy with like an Aggie shirt on and I was like, SEC, and he like turned around and was super excited and I threw up the hook him and he goes, oh, horns down. I was like, yeah, fuck you, bro.
Now it's just gonna give like 13 other schools a reason to have no hand sign except for this. I'm like,
that's all they'll know. It's like universal. I was outside of Atlanta for this entire week, and I ran into a bar, nothing but SEC hats, and this guy from Tennessee decked out in orange, and I jokingly said, you know where the real UT is, and they're very sensitive. They're very sensitive to SEC country.
And all technicality, like UT is real UT because they used to be like Eastern Tennessee University or something like that, and they changed their name. Shout out Kyle Umlong for that.
Amazing fact. Well,
Kat, my trainer always says, like, how important are we that you have to take our hand sign to make them
exactly.
So
that's a good
clowns.
It's always you can make fun of Texas and do the upside down horn, but it's always mic drop when you say, why, if you are not obsessed with Texas and what UT is doing, you wouldn't turn the hand sign upside down for absolutely no reason in a general conversation when you find out you're UT. I've never understood that.
Games you're not even playing in, people are doing orange down.
Makes
crazy.
Makes
absolutely no sense.
Crazy. Kat, thank you so much.
Yes.
You're amazing.
Thank you, guys.
You're amazing, Kat. Keep it up. And
Appreciate
we love
it.
RBI, and we love what you're doing there, too. On the other side of this break, Big Mike and I will prop some Last Stand hats, and we'll talk about Dallas Cowboys owning Canton, Ohio. Much love, Kat. We'll keep up with you. We'll see you soon.
Okay, bye.
See you later.
For all of your insurance needs, look no further than our primary sponsor, Jim Saxton State Farm Insurance Agency. The ATX OG has been insuring Austin for over 3 decades. And get this, Jim Saxton is a Longhorn legacy. He is the son of the late, great James Saxton, who was a Heisman finalist. Be sure to give him a call, or better yet, visit his website, saxtoninsurance.com, and tell him that the stories inside the Man Cave Boys recommended you.
So are we making an announcement here? Well, we can be if we can. I don't know how we're going to upstage. No, yeah, you can. Go ahead, make the announcement. We'll be in the Ring of Honor. There we go. Love it. You heard it here. I will be first. While I'm alive? Are you going to be able to make it through this Hall of Fame ceremony?
It's funny. That was I didn't see that. That's pretty funny.
That's awesome, Mike. You and I are both devoted, deeply rooted Dallas Cowboy fans. How that all ended, I never thought I'd see this day, but it's not the time. Go ahead.
I think Jerry's kind of grown up in his old age, right?
Yeah, finally.
Looks like it, right?
Yeah.
He used to. He was a little cocky. He thought he was a shit, yada yada yada. But you can see now, like as he's getting older, he's like more like down to earth. I think he's like looking back and being like, "Well, we really haven't won a Super Bowl since we had you, Jimmy." Because that was Barry Switzer's team was Jimmy.
That's all it was.
So I mean, like it's not like Barry Switzer. Yeah, it was Jimmy's team. Jimmy should have won like 5 in a row. If he wouldn't have left, Jimmy would have won like 5 or 6 Super Bowls in a row. Like he knew what he was doing. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, without a doubt.
That's cool. I'm glad Jimmy's going to be in the Ring of Honor. That's cool.
I think it's so cool that that's how it's going to work, and the fact that they've nipped in the bud, they've resolved their differences, and they're reaching out the Ring of Honor. And it's also so cool how the Canton, Ohio, the NFL Hall of Fame weekend, it is dominated by Dallas Cowboys. You got Jimmy Johnson, Drew Pearson, finally, and Cliff Harris.
Finally, yeah. No, this is a big one. I'm glad Drew Pearson got it. I was a little worried that he wasn't going to. Like, and he deserves to be in. Like, Drew Pearson was a great receiver. Like, Jane knows Drew really well. Shout out Jane Slater. But like, I'm excited. I'm excited. I wasn't excited with what we had on the field yesterday. Our backups are not as good as Pittsburgh's backups, apparently. But I mean, it's preseason. But there's only 3 preseason games. Yeah. Also, when does Hard Knocks start? I like, aren't the Cowboys on Hard Knocks?
Like the third time, right?
No, it's like the 5th time.
Is it 5th? When did I lose count?
Oh man, I don't know. They've been on there forever. The point is that like I literally am like, I need to figure out when this is on so I can go and watch it.
Yeah, it's going to be good because I think there's a hint with you alluded to the lack of depth, but I think you've got some guys, some frontline guys on both sides of the ball with the Cowboys that are kind of giving a hint of when Dez that year that he made the catch, it didn't, but also there's a hint of mid-90s type of talent for some of the starters.
Yeah,
I think.
I hope so. Mid-90s would be good. That's Super Bowl-ish.
Lord, man, I can't believe it's been that long. It sucks being a Cowboys.
So it was all my teams suck. The Rangers suck. The Cowboys suck. The Longhorns are the Longhorns. Like,
yeah, it's who
Austin FC sucks. Like, I mean, like they all suck.
That environment's freaking amazing. But you mentioned
the game.
Yeah, I've been outside and not been in yet.
Oh my God, it is electric. Doesn't matter if we win or lose. Like, it is electric in that stadium.
Well, let's
talk about this. Let me ask you a question, John.
Yeah.
Buffalo Bills put out this statement
and
leaked it that they were they're like, we're thinking about moving to Austin. A lot of Austin Congress people or whatever representatives are like, we haven't heard about fucking Buffalo. Do you think Austin is big enough for a football team, an NFL team?
We talked. I think this was a year ago. We discussed this, but it wasn't about this specific topic. I think the money's here, the population base is here. You look at Buffalo; it's Buffalo and Rochester. I think together they're 1 million people. It's not that there's not enough money. I just don't think that as far as
would people show up.
I think people would show up, but I think UT is still, even though it's not like it once was, that's a huge piece of the advertisement pie. Dollars, if you will. Yeah. That's my opinion. I may be completely off base.
So like season ticket wise, you think people would choose between an NFL team and UT?
What is it?
Could you imagine if you were able to go to a UT game on Saturday during the day, and then the next day you're going to a soccer game at 3, and then at 7 you're going to a football game? Fuck.
That'd be the ultimate sports weekend in Austin, Texas.
I mean, it might be a sports town, dude. Like Austin might finally turn into a sports town. It might happen.
I think we're going to have another pro team of some sort within the area. Because
what do you think comes first, basketball, football, or baseball?
Man, I still think that baseball would be the ideal one, somewhere in between Austin and San Antonio.
Yeah, you had Kyle or Buda or some shit like that.
Marcus, New Braunfels, maybe. I just think it's going to happen at some point because they're going to see. Even though I'm not a soccer guy, it's the perfect model for right now.
Yeah,
it's going to work. It's going to work.
Go to a soccer game and then tell me you're not a soccer guy. Like go to one of the Austin FC. Everybody I talk to that's never gone to a soccer game or watched a soccer game goes to Austin FC and they're like,
and they're in.
Holy shit, I'm in. Like, this is amazing. Like,
it's pretty intense.
It's amazing. It's an experience, man. Like, it is an electric experience. Like, I played for 17 years, so like,
right.
I took a big hiatus in watching it because I bleed soccer. It's my sport, and I mean, it's something different than what like going to a football game is great, right? Like, but going to a soccer match, like with the chants and the fucking like it's electric. Everybody's in a great mood there. Even if we lose, like they're still chanting when it's great. You need to experience it.
I'm going to in September for sure. One thing that I think a lot of people, and you know this, we've talked about this, we texted about it, talked about it. Coach Mo's excited about it. You know, Hardball Harge is extremely excited. This soon to be moved to the SEC for Texas, and Coach Sarkisian was asked about it on the pre-opening of
your boy Kirk Bowles. Your boy Kirk Bowles, who God, I can't stand that motherfucker. He was the one that asked about the SEC. He was the first person to ask about it. And like, Bowles, I can't just retire and go home.
Here's what Sark had to say about all that. I mean, I know we know the answer, but he said something that I thought about the leadership, the brain trust who were behind all this at Texas. I thought this was somewhat interesting. Just listen to how he says it and what he says.
I think one, they've got a great deal of trust and faith in our leadership here at the University of Texas. And President Hartzell, Chris Del Conte, in their process of navigating this move, I've got a great deal of faith in them. And I think it was 10 days or so, 2 weeks ago when all this started to come out. I think that the job that Chris has done in getting all of the head coaches here together and letting them know this was the path, this was the journey we were going to be on, I really appreciate that. And, because they didn't owe that to us, but including us, and once that kind of broke, I thought was a really big deal. All that being said, the SEC is a tremendous football conference. There's definitely big people, there's talented people, there's good coaches. And so that's something, when we get to that point, we'll worry about. But quite frankly, just as we touched on with the team, we've got a lot of unfinished business here in the Big 12 that we want to make sure we take care of. And this year is the start of it. And so that's really where our focus is. I don't know the timetable of what this other thing's looking like. What I do know is, we're playing Louisiana September 4th.
God, I can't wait.
I can't wait. And that's going to be a good game.
Can y'all just get fucking vaccinated? Can everybody get vaccinated so I can tailgate? That's all I'm asking. Like, I don't care if you're a non-vaxxer or a vaxxer or, it's my body, my choice. Just do it. I'm vaccinated. Clinch is vaccinated. Nothing's going to happen to you. Like, you're also vaccinated with the polio vaccination. You have the SARS vax. And guess what? You don't have any of that stuff. You want to know why?
Ooh.
Because you're vaccinated.
That's exactly right, man. I don't get
Oh, dog, bro.
They're going to screw up this entire 100% attendance if more people don't. 90% of the Longhorns.
Here's the deal. But Abbott, Governor, don't ring the doorbell. I got a baby sleeping, dude. Got a baby. I'm going to go fucking yell at someone. Why would you ring the doorbell? Anyway, give me 1 second, Clinch.
All right.
I'll be right back, America.
Right. America.
Hey, man. Tell me something good.
All right, tell me something good. It's always the best way how we end our episode of Stories Inside the Man Cave. I apologize. We temporarily lost Big Mike, Vinny Alcazar, one of his fine members of his sales staff at Last Stand Hats, and the former legendary member of the University of Texas baseball equipment staff, managed everything on that front for Texas baseball. Won't meet a better guy than Vinny. Of course, Tell Me Something Good, sponsored by Cosmic Coffee and Beer Garden on the south side of Austin. I will do my best to wrap this up with that. Tell me something good. Well, I was in the sweet peach state of Georgia all this past week, for a conference for the pharmaceuticals company that I work for. And I got to meet somebody who I have wanted to meet for almost a decade, that being Inky Johnson, former defensive back for the University of Tennessee, suffered a paralyzing, debilitating injury against Air Force his senior year, and I believe that was in 1990 or 91. Regained the usage of his body, but I believe it's his right arm in which that he has no control over. But he has quite a story. He has paralysis in that right arm. He was our motivational speaker of our conference, 4-day conference. And I'm overly in debt and grateful for our company for bringing him in. I mean, we've had some great speakers. Jake Olson, who's also a Stories Inside the Man Cave alumni. Shaq spoke at one of our functions. But Inky Johnson, go follow him. Delivered a incredible message. If you've not listened to him, go to YouTube. And you would be lying to me if you said that you were not motivated or had a different perspective on life. There are no excuses in life. We receive what we give to this world, and that was somewhat tied to his message. And you have too many excuses. He also said how basically our society in America, we always look to complain instead of appreciate pieces of what's in front of us. I don't want to ruin it, but that's my Tell Me Something Good. Inky Johnson, fabulous speaker. We hope to have him on here on Stories Inside the Man Cave, and we will definitely make that happen at some point or another, because he is a tremendous speaker. And we want to thank Big Mike for having the opportunity to be back on as a co-host here. He's been busy with Last Stand Hat. He is a creator of one of the latest designs, contractual agreement with Stephen F. Austin, my alma mater. This is one of the Last Stand hats that he creates. We also want to give much love and big props and thanks to the softball legend, Cat Osterman, for joining us in segment 1. Tremendous interview. We thank you, Cat, and we thank you for everything that you do for the RBI, special organization that she is not only a board member of, but she's going to be play a bigger role in developing the softball side of that. So for Big Mike, Coach Mo, Cat Osterman, and Hardball Harge, much love to you guys. We appreciate you guys. And for all of you who are listening, all I got to say to you, much love to you, and we out.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up.